Welcome to Earth Discovery, the channel that takes you on a journey through history and geopolitics. Today, we delve into a topic that has gripped the world for decades: the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This is not just a tale of political strife, it's a story of lives lost, dreams shattered, and a region perpetually on the edge. Join us as we uncover the harrowing history of unrest in the Gaza Strip, a conflict that has left an indelible mark on local and regional peace. Our journey begins in the late 19th century, when tensions first simmered between Jewish immigrants and Arab Palestinians in the region that would become Israel. The root of the conflict can be traced back to the late 1800s, when the Zionist movement, advocating for a Jewish homeland, gained momentum. This movement clashed with the Palestinian Arab population who had inhabited the region for generations. Tensions grew, setting the stage for the tumultuous events to come. 1947 to 1949, the First Arab-Israeli War. 1947 marked a turning point as the United Nations voted to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, leading to widespread violence. On May 14, 1948, Israel declared its independence, sparking the First Arab-Israeli War. This brutal conflict saw battles, massacres, and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. 1967, the Six-Day War. In 1967, tensions escalated again, culminating in the Six-Day War. Israel swiftly defeated Egypt, Jordan, and Syria, capturing the Gaza Strip and West Bank in the process. The outcome of this war reshaped the entire region and intensified the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. 1987 to 1993, the First Intifada. The late 80s saw the eruption of the First Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli rule in the occupied territories. The world watched as Palestinians threw stones and Molotov cocktails while Israel responded with force. This event ignited international attention and marked a new phase in the conflict. 2002-2005, the Second Intifada. The early 2000s brought the Second Intifada, characterized by suicide bombings and a heavy Israeli military response. This brutal period of violence left thousands dead and further deepened animosities on both sides. 2005, Gaza Disengagement Plan. In 2005, Israel unilaterally withdrew its settlements from the Gaza Strip. While seen as a move towards peace by some, it also left Gaza under Palestinian control, but surrounded by Israeli military checkpoints. 2006, Hamas takes control of Gaza. In 2006, the militant group Hamas won Palestinian legislative elections and subsequently took control of Gaza. This marked a turning point in the conflict, as Hamas and Israel engaged in frequent clashes and rocket attacks. 2014, Operation Protective Edge. The summer of 2014 saw Operation Protective Edge, a 50-day conflict that resulted in thousands of Palestinian casualties and significant damage in Gaza. The international community called for a ceasefire, but lasting peace remained elusive. In 2018, Gaza protests. In 2018, a series of protests known as the Great March of Return erupted along the Gaza-Israel border. Demonstrators demanded the right to return to their ancestral homes in what is now Israel. The protests resulted in clashes with Israeli forces and further casualties. In 2020, UAE-Israel peace agreement. In a historic development, the United Arab Emirates (UAE) and Israel signed a normalization agreement in 2020, known as the Abraham Accords. While this signaled a thaw in relations between Israel and some Arab states, it also inflamed tensions with the Palestinians. Currently, ongoing conflict and recent developments. The conflict remains ongoing, with sporadic violence erupting at various times. Recent clashes in 2021 and 2022 have continued to claim lives on both sides, and efforts to reach a lasting peace deal remain elusive. On the 7th of October 2023, Palestinian militant groups led by Hamas launched a large-scale invasion and offensive against Israel from the Gaza Strip. The militants broke through the Gaza-Israel barrier and forced their way through Gaza border crossings, entering nearby Israeli settlements and military installations. Hamas called it Operation Al-Aqsa Storm. It is the first direct conflict within Israel's boundaries since the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Hostilities were initiated in the early morning with a rocket barrage against Israel and vehicle-transported incursions into Israeli territory, with several attacks on surrounding Israeli civilian communities and Israeli military bases. Some observers have referred to these events as the beginning of a third Palestinian Intifada, for the first time since the 1973 Yom Kippur War, which took place almost exactly 50 years before the 2023 attacks. Israel formally declared war. An Israeli operation launched in response was called Iron Swords by the IDF. The Palestinian invasion represented a tipping point in the breakdown of relations between the Strip and Israel. This followed months of conflict between Israelis and Palestinians, including attacks by Jewish settlers, clashes in Jenin, and at Al-Aqsa Mosque, that killed almost 250 Palestinians and 32 Israelis. Hamas cited these events as justification for the offensive and called on Palestinians outside of Gaza to join the fight against the occupation. In response, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and some opposition parties have advocated for the formation of a national unity government to combat the Palestinian offensive. Throughout this tumultuous history, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has left a trail of devastation on both sides. Thousands of lives lost, communities shattered, and a perpetual cycle of mistrust and violence. The impact is not limited to the region. It reverberates on the global stage, affecting international relations and security. As we explore this complex and heartbreaking history, we'll delve deeper into the human stories, the geopolitical complexities, and the ongoing quest for a peaceful resolution. Join us on this journey as we strive to understand the past, present, and uncertain future of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.